Welcome back to another exciting edition of Rake Edition with four lifelong friends. Well, after this weekend, maybe three of us lifelong friends. Y'all look at these stubbies. Trying to live out their dream from the comfort of their chairs. I'm Aaron, the host.
I am Joe, the groundskeeper. Down goes Frazier!
Not your best
I'm for your set. It was fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Like a bee.
Girls action.
That's the party going on.
Yeah, you didn't say it was bad, you said it wasn't the best.
We're just trying to give you some constructive criticism.
It's like, Michael Keaton back. And then there they go.
Oh! Keep that
Look at
man's
it this way,
mouth.
like that is like...
Keep that man's mouth off of your mouth.
Yes, keep that hands.
I can say that me and Michael Keaton have never touched mouth.
Oh, there you go, guys.
It's on the record.
Breaking news alert here at Rake Edition.
There's a pod, that's our title.
Write it down right now.
Who's kissed the most Batman? What's the name of that pod? You guys probably heard that one. Alrighty, so that got weird real fast. So let's just jump into our rankings. Last week, coming after the deadline, we had Rays first, Orioles second, Rangers third, Rays fourth, Dodgers fifth. Not a whole lot has changed. Those are the only 5 teams last week that got votes. Somehow, a 6th team got a vote this week, and
We ain't got to talk about that.
shout out to a buddy of mine, Luke, who listens every week while he's mowing his yard.
What's up, Luke?
He's gonna like that 6th team. He been texting me all week to talk about him, and I'm not going to. So here we go. In 5th place, once again, is the Dodgers. You got something on your shirt there. You might want to wash that. You got something there. In 4th place, once again, is Tampa Bay. So those 2 teams didn't change. The top 3 teams are the same, but they're in a slightly different order.
Uh-oh.
Drum roll, please. Thank you. A for effort. Baltimore falls to 3rd. The Rangers leapfrogged them into 2nd. And the Braves stay in 1st.
I don't even know what podcast I'm on anymore.
Host tampering in those.
The Braves got 1 first place vote. That's me. And all 3 of you voted them 2nd. So that kept them up. They got 17 points. Baltimore got a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th.
Are you looking at the right week?
No, I'm looking at the wrong week.
Okay.
Hey, let's start over. That was last week. Here we go. No, that's right. That's what you guys had.
Huh. Look at that.
I just don't know how you can have 3 seconds and still be in first.
Yeah.
Hey, let's start over, guys. It just reloaded and looked different. So I wrote it all down right here, and that's not what the screen says.
Yes, I love technology.
Listeners, this just proves that we're not all perfect.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna cut. We'll do the intro, but
no. Let's see. Everything's right. Your numbers are right. You did not vote the Braves first, though. You voted the Braves 2nd.
I did vote the Braves 2nd.
Okay, so we're all good here, because you claimed
this isn't.
This is
no, that's right. Yeah, I voted the Braves 2nd. That's
well, you claimed it, and I was like, no, I did it.
Yeah,
so
you did it. I voted them 2nd. I voted the Rangers first. All right, so I confused myself because I couldn't believe I didn't vote them first. So somebody else talk? I don't know what's going on. Braves are in first, but barely. That's all I know. Braves are barely in first. Rangers barely in 2nd. Baltimore's in 3rd, and then there's a little bit of a drop off, and then you get to Tampa and LA.
Did somebody have the Rangers like in 4th or 5th for them to not get enough points to get
Somebody
up there?
has them in 4th, yes.
Okay. Yeah, explain. We'll let Jared talk here. I guess explain that.
Just go back and look at their schedule and see who they played. I'm not impressed. I mean, maybe the Marlins, you just beat up on the Athletics. You lost a game to the Athletics. You swept the White Sox. Look out. You swept the White Sox. You lost the series to the Nationals back in July. You got swept by the Padres. I can keep going. You lost a series to the Astros. I can still keep going. You lost a series to the Dodgers. Still continue, or are we good?
Well, I'm
No,
looking
keep going.
at just the last 10 here. Basically kind of since the trade deadline, which,
Basically,
I think we all had them grading pretty high at the trade deadline and kind of going not necessarily all in for it because they already had
Sure. I'm not
pretty good
saying that they
team.
don't deserve some praise, but to go to number one,
To go to number 4, highest run differential. They picked up 2
Okay.
pitchers, 8 and 2
Okay.
in their last 10.
and you haven't faced really anybody great yet since then. I could beat the Athletics by myself right now.
that's next
not
week's pod.
50
Spoilers.
50.
And the White Sox just traded everybody and their mom. So,
Sorry,
My
moms.
mom got traded.
yeah, breaking news.
Is she still my mom or is she somebody else's mom?
No, she's still your mom.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
no trade clause on that part of it.
Oof. Thank goodness.
I don't know. Look, just my opinion. Sorry I got so heated.
I put them first over the Braves simply for the fact that they are playing hot right now. Yeah, the schedule's a little different, but the Braves have struggled against some lesser opponents lately as well. I feel like the Braves are struggling, and they went 6-4 in their last 10. And I thought that was like 2-8 the way they've looked.
Corey, can you cut that audio so we can save that?
I'll make it happen.
Well, I
man,
also the lesser opponent that they lost to was the Cubs, so that was also a dig there.
Speaking of the Cubs,
did pretty good.
Mhm.
Beat the Braves in a series. Doing pretty good after the deadline.
Mhm.
Watch out.
Speaking of people that haven't
what are
played
we watching
anybody,
out for?
They just played the Braves and they won the series against them.
Yeah.
Are you now saying the Braves are nobody?
No, I'm saying
not saying the Braves are nobody. What is that? Does that make
Following?
them something that they are as somebody?
Something that they are. That's the only playoff team they've played in like 2 months. it seems like.
All they have to do is beat their own division, so it's not gonna be too tough.
That is true. However, there are like 14 teams with more wins than them right now. So it's hard. It's hard for me to vote. I really thought I was going to vote them fifth this week. I'll be honest with you. I really thought I was going to sneak a vote in there just for fun because the fifth spot can be a numerous amounts of teams. But then I realized they are 15th in the league in wins. I was like, I can't do
Okay,
that.
so here's my confession.
Has it actually even been said yet, Corey? What did you do?
I voted the Cubs fifth.
Okay, go ahead.
I maybe
Instead of
don't.
Who didn't
Ma-
you vote for?
The Dodgers probably.
Okay.
Um,
The Dodgers, who are the hottest team in
the
National League.
Astros. I don't think the Cubs are probably the fifth best team right now, but I gotta give the people what they want. When they say we can't wait to hear the talk about the Cubs and the Braves series, I gotta vote for the Cubs.
That's true. The Cubs get the most talk on Twitter. That's for sure.
Because of the one person who talks to us on Twitter, and that is Adam Lee.
Lee.
So thank you, Adam.
Hey, thanks, Adam. We got to talk about something different, though.
Yeah.
So the Cubs are the fifth best team. Forget everything I just said the past 30 seconds. I will die on this hill.
They're rising fast, and they somehow are probably going to make the playoffs.
Probably.
When they had no business doing that.
That's
However,
absolutely true.
they might be the 8th best team.
I agree with everything you just said.
Okay, perfect. They're on the same page. Now that I've got the rankings all messed up and got them straight again.
No, you had them right. You just were so appalled that you didn't vote for the Braves first.
I know.
It
It threw me off and got me flustered. I'm like, well, this can't be right. But then I remembered I did. I voted the Rangers.
Corey,
Yes, sir.
does it? So here's how I think. So obviously, I want bad things to happen to the Cubs.
Sure.
I mean, look what I'm wearing. I got 3 birds.
That's a lot of birds.
And so,
Big
and
bird fan.
I'm kind of a pessimistic fan. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
Didn't know.
Regardless of the sports, but so in my mind, I think, okay, they sneak into the playoffs, that, and then they re-sign these players that help them get to the playoffs. And then like Bill Inslee goes back to the, I mean, the 230 hitter.
Bellinger,
Go back. Who?
Bellinger, whatever his name is.
Chad Billingsley's making a comeback.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You got Chad Billingsley leading the Cubs next year, Corey.
Yeah. We got
Billy. Let's just
45-year-old
call him.
pitcher.
Let's just call him Billy. Okay,
This pod,
about to-
this
he's about
pod
to
has
get a
no
Billy.
chance.
you re-sign him, too much money, regresses. You re-sign Stroman, too much money, has a 4.5 ERA for the rest of his career. That's where my mind goes. You sneak into the playoffs, you think, oh, we got a perennial winner here, and then you sign guys that are on an expiring contract who maybe did a little extra working out to get a bigger contract, and it's like, okay, I'm actually that 240 hitter that I was the past 3 years in LA. But
I don't think they probably signed Stroman and Chad Billingsley, who is 39 years old. So he still might have some left in the tank. Or Cody Bellinger. I do think it shows. I don't know. Like there is, I think, a perception as a player of the teams that you may want to go to. Like if you're just to take a look at both White Sox both Chicago teams right now with the White Sox and the Cubs, and if you're a free agent and you have an approximately equivalent amount offer to both teams, you're going to go with the team that would seem to have a little bit better handle on how things are supposed to be going day to day.
No, I disagree. Sounds like the White Sox clubhouse is pretty fun. So
Yeah, they got. I mean, it's it's like
there's
Outback
there's
Steakhouse.
no rules.
No rules,
Yeah.
just right. They got blooming onions every day before the game.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
Joe is out of the locker room.
Trade me to the AA team down the road.
That's why Joe's
Trash
not on the White
pandas.
Sox. He actually got a call after they made all those trades, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come play here? We got blooming onions every time it's at the game." And he's like, "I'm out."
And,
But I think that you show that you're still willing to go for it when you're kind of that French team. And the other thing I think about is, I don't know. Obviously, if you go through a 3-game wild card series, like there's probably not a lot of a playoff share that gets distributed to players and the staff and all that. But if you make the playoffs, you make more money as a player even. So I don't think, especially Bellinger, like they just promoted Pete Crow Armstrong, I think like the same day as the trade deadline to AAA. So he's a guy that's probably up next year. They've got 4 other outfielders that can play in the corners, but if you've got PCA in center and you've got Hap and Seiya in the corners, there's not a lot of room there. So that could be something that happens in the offseason if you're looking to add somebody. But so Bellinger, I don't really see where he fits unless you make Seiya a DH or Bellinger plays first more often, past this year anyway. Stroman, I mean, you can always use arms, but I imagine the amount of money that he would want is not a number that the Cubs are willing to go to. They've kind of taken a stance similar to the Dodgers, where they don't do the long-term deals. Like they signed Hap and they signed Nico Horner, and they're like 3 or 4 year deals, and they're maybe a little bit bigger AAV, but shorter term. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But I don't think those guys are coming back. It's still just fun to see them win and go for it.
It's fun to see anybody go for it, but it is a big gamble. We talked about this a little bit because Stroman was the best starter available, and so you could have gotten a couple top flight prospects, and now you're probably not gonna get anything for him. So, but it's fun to see teams go for it. So yeah, the Cubs are on the outside looking in. These 5 teams that are on the rankings have been the same for a couple of weeks now. Rangers and Dodgers have been the hottest probably of the bunch, but Jared doesn't like the Rangers schedule. So, but other than that, not much has changed at the top. Any teams that you think might be sneaking in the next couple of weeks?
Well, let me tell you about a team that I had on my list that nobody. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I think the Astros are right there, pretty close. Toronto is that division is so difficult. But I think Toronto could make a push.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody today at lunch, one of my buddies who's also a Cubs fan. I got too many Cubs fans in my life. Man, did you realize that? Anyway,
I've been trying to tell you that.
yeah, thanks, man. Out of anybody in the East, AL East, if one team makes the playoffs and you got to face that team, like who are you the most scared of in a 5-game set? Probably Toronto. The Yankees are a mess. Red Sox don't have enough pitching to scare you. The Rays don't have any pitching now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Baltimore's never had pitching, but if you had to face the Blue Jays with that hitting and defense, and you had to face Gossman twice and Bassett twice, that's better than anybody else in the East. So, like, if the Jays can actually get in, they're probably built for the playoffs better than anybody else in the East.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at
my fantasy team today, I guess, or I don't know how I stumbled across the Blue Jays having as good as record as they did. I was like, oh wow, they're right there.
Mm-hmm.
So when Corey said, that could be a team that kind of not sneaks up on us. I mean, it's not like they're invisible or something, right? Yeah, they got a team that if they get in could make some noise, and Houston was also kind of on my radar. That's it. Corey?
I'll take the Phillies real quick. Just to throw their name out there. They're playing some good baseball.
They are.
Yeah,
I mean,
back to you, Corey.
well, I just feel like those are guys, or the Blue Jays are in the last wild card spot with a 2.5-game lead over the Mariners. Phillies have a hold on the top wild card spot. So, yeah, I mean, those are both teams that, I mean, I've said all year, I think the Phillies have the offense to do it. I think if you can get their starters right, which, I mean, Lorenzen's doing pretty good. Wink.
Well, foreshadow. I did see that, if Harper's playing first, that allows Schwarber to DH, and they've got some good defensive outfields. Once they all get healthy, they've, like, Pache's been down, Marsh has been down, and then they called up that rookie Rojas, who's supposed like the best defender in the game already. And so if Marsh, Pache, and Rojas are all out there, you could sub Castellanos out because their defense. That's what I was worried about being the year of their defense with Schwarber and Castellanos. And I'm not a fan of Trey Turner at short. So, but yeah, if they can get back all those guys healthy for the playoffs, Phillies will be scary. And the Mariners, a lot of us love the Mariners in the offseason. You guys mentioned they're sniffing the wild card now. They're playing really good baseball right now, and they have a lot of studs in that rotation that they'd really be a scary team to face in their do or die series.
Logan Gilbert just had a great start yesterday. Yeah, I mean, just talking about records again since the trade deadline. Before today, Wednesday, August 9th, 2023. Texas 8-0 since the deadline. Dodgers are 7-1. Seattle 6-1. The Twins and Cubs 6-2. Washington, Baltimore, Washington. Hey, watch out. And Houston are 5-2. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you got Arizona. Your Arizona Diamondbacks 0-7. The Reds.
They're
Mets,
breaking my heart.
And our poor Angels are 1-7 since the trade deadline.
What'd you say the Reds were?
Reds are 1-7.
Coming back down to earth, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
Miami's 2-6. Boston, Oakland, Cardinals, Cleveland 2-5. So it's you see some buyers there at the bottom, and the Angels, the Diamondbacks, the Marlins, I would say. The Reds didn't do anything, and they're 1-7. And then a couple of teams that you saw make some moves in the Rangers and Dodgers up the top. And then the Mariners kind of just stayed pat too, and they've done pretty well at 6-1. So it's interesting to see kind of the two ends of the spectrum here, where you've got the teams that bought and are losing, you've got the teams that bought and are performing how you would hope you would do after you add some kind of impact players. But there's a lot of teams still kind of in the middle there, but there are the two extremes. It's kind of interesting to look. Here we are about 10 days. The Rangers did lose tonight, so they're 8-1. I don't know about the other teams.
They got shut out by Oakland. What just happened?
You can only score so many runs in a week or something like that.
It's baseball.
Yeah. But I don't know if you guys had anything you wanted to add about kind of what we've been seeing after the post deadline, or maybe some of the players.
Yeah, just kind of segueing into that, like we talked about how some of these players leaving really bad teams and joining contenders how we expected them to step up. You've seen that with the Dodgers quartet. Those guys were negative 2.5 WAR when the Dodgers, like the four of them combined, were with negative 2.5 WAR. And I think combined now they've already added like 2 WAR to the Dodgers. Lynn's won both games. Kike and Rosario are driving runs in, and Kelly's back to his maniac mantic reliever that everybody's afraid of, and it works. And then, of course, what we just saw with Lorenzen tonight. So I think you're going to see more of that. These guys all excited to be in the playoff race, performing well. Joe, you got a little trivia on the no-hit history, don't you? Did you have something for us?
Well,
Closed it out on accident.
no, I still got it up. Let me go through my 42 tabs I have open over here. Well, as our listeners may or may not know, Michael Lorenzen threw a no-no today. And I guess Valdez threw one 8 days ago for the Astros. I missed that, I guess. Sorry, Valdez. Get you next time you throw one. But so it got me thinking. MLB.com had that was the 14th no-hitter for the Phillies, which to me sounded like a lot. But then I Googled up what franchises have the most no-hitters thrown. So listeners, viewers, Corey, your franchise does?
No, I was gonna
write them down. Write them down and guess.
I didn't even ask for guesses yet.
Let's write them down.
Are you wanting the franchise or how many or both?
Let's go both. Write down your number one. And of course, some franchises have been around for 120, 130 years, so that's probably the ones you're going to want to have at the top of your list. But
the Phillies isn't that old of a team compared to some of these.
Well,
Athletics used to be in Philly.
The Phillies are kind of in the middle of the list, to be honest.
Yeah. 14's a lot, man. Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm not.
Jay Lee just wrinkled his up, threw it in the trash. He's not quite ready.
All right. I got something written down.
So listeners, viewers, you can go ahead and say
in.
yours out loud too. Everybody's locked in. All right. So let's just go with the team first. Jay Lee, who's your team?
I said the Yankees.
Okay. Corey?
I did the Dodgers, but I wrote it underneath, so it's upside down now.
I mean, it's impossible to flip that over. I know. I'm sorry.
Well, then you'll see the number here.
Oh.
I put the Yankees as well.
All right. Well, 2 people are already out because it is.
It's the Dodgers.
It is the Dodgers. The Yankees. Holy smokes! The Yankees are behind the Phillies. The Yankees only have 13 career.
I put 27.
Hey, for the record, didn't Corey say he had this pulled up on his screen?
No.
So he cheated?
I mean,
okay, go
I
ahead.
heard that too, Jared. I heard that too.
He is the stat
Go
man.
ahead. Go
Did
ahead.
you say how
Corey,
many?
I guess you've already won, but how many did you have him?
37.
That's a little high. They have 26 total no-nos.
I almost had the amount right.
Yeah, no, you were close on that.
I said
And
29.
I assume this list has the accurate names that this team has went by throughout the year. So let's just run through these real quick because this is pretty cool. So right now, Los Angeles Dodgers, they at one point were the Brooklyn Atlantics, the Brooklyn Grays, the Brooklyn Bridegrooms, the Brooklyn Grooms, the Brooklyn Trolley Dodgers.
Yes. I knew that
The
one.
Brooklyn Robins, the Brooklyn Dodgers, and then probably my favorite because it's so close to a word we say a lot. They were the Brooklyn Superbas. I guess that's how you say that. And when I saw it, I was like, were they named the Super Beast?
Super Beast.
Because I might have a new favorite team if they were changed it to the Brooklyn Super Beast. But
Need some throwback jerseys for that, man.
yeah, they've had a lot of names. One more question. What do you think the total count of all no-hitters throughout MLB history is? What's the total number?
The total number?
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Was that factorial where you add opposite ends? No, did I make that up?
Nope. Factorial is like It's
Not
funny
that.
That's
yeah,
where you take the factors and then you factor them into your decision.
uh-huh.
got a
Are we writing that
guess.
down?
Are we writing
again?
this down?
You can write it down if you want. Listeners, let us know what you think it is or how
Let
close
me-
you got.
yeah, let me, for the audio people, let me try and get the sound of me writing.
I mean, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
super high, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Corey, that didn't pick it up at all. But
Oh, dang it. Well, I'm just trying to give him the full experience.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'm off too, but whatever.
all right, let's start with Aaron this time. What do you got?
I mean, if the Yankees or the Dodgers had 26, so just going down 412. I don't know.
Okay. Corey
335.
and Jay Lee. You gotta say it.
But
You know how many times I've been embarrassed on war?
I'm not even embarrassed. I'm just thinking
Oh.
like, if the max number is that, how are we in the 400s?
because two teams had 40, Phillies and Dodgers combined have
But
40.
some teams could have had 0.
That's true.
Right.
I said 154.
All right. Well, drum roll. Corey, you're actually pretty close. With
I know.
today's
Wait, you
no
know?
hitter,
No, I
he's
just know I'm
deep.
close. No, I know I'm close. I- it's a-
322
Yeah.
no hitters.
Yeah.
It's only off by
I
90.
knew.
I believe now. Pardon me. I believe.
You're pardoned.
I believe that may count combined no hitters as well.
that counts.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any more?
Who
Go ahead, Aaron.
has the least out of our three teams? I feel like the Braves only have like one or two, and they've been around
Chicago
forever.
Cubs at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're tied for fourth with 17. St. Louis has 10. Atlanta has 14.
Oh wow,
Oh, so the Cardinals are the
Been-
worst.
it's been a while since we've had one.
Shocker.
Not the worst, Corey.
No,
Just not the
does there a
best.
list of who's been
No.
no hit the most? Because
Well, there's a list over here
do
of
that
most,
every other month.
There's a
Guardians.
list over here of most rings in the National League, and at the top is the Cardinals.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
There's a,
Does it have like how many years since they last won one?
yeah.
It's not important.
Good.
When's
Yeah.
the last time
they-
When's the last time Atlanta threw a no hitter?
The only
Who
thing that's
cares?
important,
Rings, baby.
is this year. Ain't nobody won it this year. So I'd like to say, sticking on the maybe we can get Michael Lorenzen on the pod with throwing him some love. I don't know if this would be love though. Usually mine descends into
He's
hate.
got some sweet hair. So there's that.
Well, I remember. So he played on Cincy for a long time, right? And he was,
A beast. Big.
I mean, super jacked, super athletic, super ripped out on the mound. His results were never outstanding. He
Hit homers.
this must be the first year he's been like strictly a starter because he has not started a lot of games that I remember. And he's doing extremely well, culminating in tonight's no. So maybe he's found his calling as a starter. I mean, he has to be 30, right?
Maybe he's
a
we should
super
look
bomb.
these
Him up
things
right
up.
now. I know LA signed him. The Angels signed him to be a starter last year in that 6-man pen, but I don't know if he ever made it through the whole year.
When I
31.
looked at his stats earlier today, I was like, "Oh wow, he's had a really good season as a starter." And
I mean, yeah, he's
know,
31. If I'm
never
doing my
really-
math correctly.
he was kind of just an average player, maybe slightly above average with Cincy. He was there a long time.
I don't know if it's because I can only find recent pictures of him in sleeves, but it looks like he might have lost a little bit of his.
Yeah,
his
he's not quite
muscle
so
mass.
bulky, which
Yeah.
might help him.
Wasn't he
well, 'cause
there when the Reds wore those sleeveless jerseys? Can't you find that picture?
No, but I can find a pretty pretty intense picture of him with sleeves on still, and I'm surprised they're there. But no, I mean I think he still has a bat that he keeps in case they ever need him because he was a guy that could hit pretty well.
Yeah.
But I don't know if is there
Yeah.
any
He
other
had a
teams
four.
or-
He had a 4.24 and 18 starts last year. Got hurt. So yeah, maybe just he always said he wanted to start. I remember him always talking
Mhm.
about that. So maybe he's actually getting a chance to start, and that's where he's comfortable, and he's not worried about hitting and play defense anymore.
Any other
Nice.
teams or new players in new places we want to talk about, or are we giving the floor back to Joe here to get us to our main event?
Scherzer pitched already, right?
Yes, he did well yesterday, I believe. It was
His
yesterday.
first start, he gave up 3 in the first inning, and then through 6 was fine.
Yesterday, yep, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. The strikeouts still aren't quite there for him, but that's a pretty good outing. 3 hits over 7 innings,
Yeah.
2 walks though,
I mean-
so he's out of the game if Joe's managing.
I mean, back to Lance Lynn. I mean, he's not going to be on this pod anyway, so I can say whatever I really want about him. But I mean, I watched this Sunday night game, and I don't know how he's not giving up 15 runs a game.
Yeah, I've said that for years, man.
Still 94 down the middle.
Was that the first start or was that a second start?
I think it was the second one against the Padres.
Okay, his first start he went 7, gave up 3 earned. They were all home runs. Like he's still giving up the homers, but nobody else is on base, so Dodgers have no problem scoring.
Yeah. But pitching well for him, so
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Guys, I'm gonna go grab me another moon hug. Fill the time real quick.
Okay, well you're up, but we'll.
Well, all right. At this
on here.
point, our groundskeeper is going to talk about 2 guys making a mess of the place.
Yeah,
Take it away,
Mhm.
Joe.
it's something that you only see at the corner tavern.
Yeah. So I mean, this was all over everywhere. I love how it's our main topic because it's not really baseball. It happened during a baseball game, but it's not baseball. So I'm sure if you haven't, immediately go look it up. If you're driving, go ahead and jump on your phone and search for it. The fight.
Pull over
No.
first.
Oh,
Pull
Yeah.
over
Back
first.
up.
Then
Okay,
stay off your phone as you drive.
be safe.
So Jose Ramirez. I'm struggling with names tonight. Maybe this ain't a moon hug. But so he slides into second base too. Was this, you guys are gonna have to help me out a little bit on the play. So was this, did he try to leg out a double? Did he move from first to second?
It was
double
a
down
double,
right field line.
and he
So-
slid between Tim Anderson's legs.
Yeah. So he slides in between Tim Anderson's legs.
Which is Tim Anderson's
Tim-
fault. That's the way he set up.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not. So he slides in between Tim Anderson's leg. Tim Anderson stands there for like 0.8 seconds. And the way I viewed it was something had to be said because the play was very. We see that play a lot. I mean, I've been involved in a play like that a lot. That's how you try to attack somebody out. You know, you straddle the base and then you try to attack them. So anyway, a fight ensues. They both get up. A fight ensues. The ump tries to stop it for like a second and a half, and he's like, "I'm not taking."
Fight!
Yeah, he was almost like Judge
He's like-
Mills Lane, like, let's get it on. So Anderson throws his glove down. Ramirez puts his hands up, and usually before anything can happen, it's like, you know, we've all seen the epic movies where like 2 armies just converge and then you can't even tell what's going on. It's this crash wave. Usually that's what happens in an MLB fight. Nothing happens. Everybody gets tackled to the ground, and it's like a bunch of pushing and shoving. The bullpen guys are like, we got to run into the infield again. They're winded when they get there. They can't even fight. But this, I mean, this had like probably close to 10 seconds of 2 guys duking it out. And you heard me at the beginning, my down goes Frazier call, which was done by Howard Cosell, I believe in 1973 with George Foreman and Joe Frazier. Ramirez just has his head down, throwing haymakers, and the last one he gets off before everybody gets tackled clocks Anderson right in the jaw. And that's probably it might be the most square hit in our lifetimes. I know there's been some pretty massive brawls. The most damaging hit. I know Jose got rocked by, was that Draxon or
It was
Rugned.
Rugned Odor.
oh yeah, I was close.
Draxon.
So, I mean, he-
not a real person either.
What's Profar's first name?
Jerickson.
Jerickson.
That's what I said.
You said Draxon,
Draxon.
like the guy from
Draxon's
Guardians of the
a
Galaxy.
sweet name though. Like that's
It was Dave
So-
Bautista in blue.
Draxon Otwell.
So before we get into the main topic, which is going to be awesome, we want to hear all the listeners and viewer comments. I want to give a couple stories about myself. So if you ever been hit on the chin, you understand that, I mean, you can go night-night real fast. Because if you watch the video back, Anderson, it looks like, did he even get touched? And I mean, he definitely does get hit on the chin, but we were in college, and it, like, if you think this is going to be a cool story of me getting in a fight and then getting knocked out, it's not. This is the most uncool thing ever. But I exit a door like behind me. I walk out. As a guy is walking down the hallway, his shoulder clips my chin, and he has to catch me from falling on the ground because I've been knocked out. Fast forward to like a month ago. You know how when you take a water bottle and you finish it, and then you squeeze it down into little bitty so you can like put more in a trash can? Okay, why I had a thick water bottle, and as I go to squeeze it, my bottom hand slips off and I hit myself in the chin and I almost knocked myself out.
Dude, I wouldn't have paid to see that.
I wouldn't have told that story.
No, I guess I'm really not going anywhere with this. But
I remember
I'm
a
gonna
time on
guess-
the basketball court that you got punched too.
well, that was by
And he's-
you, and I
And
didn't
he's
know
still
how to
angry
feel it.
about it.
Well,
So angry.
you punched me up here. I'm tough. Just don't hit me in the chin. So I'm guessing our listeners, our demographic has to be around this age. So we've all played Punch Out, right? Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Who's the very first boxer on that game? The very first one you beat?
I don't remember their names, man. I'm sorry.
Jay Lee, come on. You're the only one not shaking your head.
Is that something, Joe?
It's Glass Joe. He is 0 and 99.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that, I mean, I guess I was molded after that character because I think that came out right when we were born. But anyway, let's jump back to modern day and Tim Anderson getting jacked in the vase. So my question to you guys and to our listeners is, as I said, most fights are nothing. Guy charges the mound, the third baseman tackles him. A fight starts on first base and both dugouts empty and it's a bunch of shoving, nothing happens. So Cubs just lost to the Mets, by the way, final score. And
Great
so
picks.
what are your all's ideas to make fights better in the MLB? I'll just leave it as that basic. If you have one, if you like the current format of Braveheart style, run to the middle and clobber each other, that's fine. Use that. But who would like to go first in this recommendation?
Before someone goes, I actually just want to say I think I know why you told those stories. Is because you and Tim Anderson have a great comparison of like he barely got touched and he passed out. So you both have glass jaws. I want
Did you
connect
see him
those
trying to
dots.
walk off the field?
Yes,
It was bad.
he could
Dude,
not
it
walk
was
off
bad.
the
Could
field.
not.
Well, it's like, so the fight, this one was great because like there was the main fight and then it kind of calmed down and then you'd hear the announcers talk about another little fight over another place somewhere else. And then like there were like a lot of shockwave. I don't know. I don't think there were probably punches, but there were, points of interest. But if nobody else wants to go first, I can go first.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. My first order of commissioner or vice commissioner of fights, I think is the title, is to expand the rosters to 28 players for the full season. And then you have a designated enforcer as
Mhm.
both the pitcher and the hitter. So you have the two, similar to hockey. Enforcers are not quite as common because they have tried to lessen the amount of fights. They are certainly still around. Shout out Ryan Reeves. But sorry, said Ryan Reeves. But so this is I think this is a strategic thing as well, because if you are I guess like it's much easier for a pitcher to instigate a brawl than it is for a hitter, because they have the ball, and when you have the ball, you have the power.
I got the power.
Yeah. But you could have, if you're the team and you want to bring in your enforcer pitcher, the other team essentially knows what's going to happen. So let's say you bring your enforcer pitcher in, and it's your cleanup hitter, and you're like, okay, I know he's going to throw at this guy. Do I now sub him in for my enforcer hitter and let him take the hit, or do I want this guy to continue to play the rest of the game? And so you have a strategic element to this of, you have Kyle Farnsworth. He's, I don't know, 50 years old. He's the first guy I'm calling if I've got the enforcer pitcher, saying, hey Kyle, I've seen you at your bodybuilding competitions. Can you at least still throw a fastball kind of fast at somebody? And I bet 100% Kyle's on board with that. But you bring in Kyle Farnsworth. You've got I don't know who's good on the Braves. I can't think of anybody. You've got Acuna coming up. He gets hit enough as it is, but
he's always getting hit.
But Kyle Farnsworth comes in from the bullpen. Acuna's coming up to hit, and so Kyle Farnsworth's about to throw 96 somewhere at Acuna. Do you keep him in and risk whatever that is, or do you bring in Dan Uggla off the bench to take that hit, and then whatever happens between Farnsworth and Uggla? And then I think you still kind of have the great waves, but there is less of an urgency to get in there because you have these two guys that are specifically on these teams to do this thing. So it's improves who's fighting, and also adds a strategic element to it as well. So expand the rosters, get an enforcer pitcher, enforcer hitter, see what happens.
Does the
I like all
enforcer
that.
pitcher have to throw at the batter?
That was
I mean,
my thought too.
I don't think, no, it's not a requirement. Like, you don't have the people who are the enforcers in hockey, like, they still play hockey. They still do that hockey every now and then. They don't do it very well, but they might score 3 goals in a season.
Okay.
So I mean, he could still come in, like, he instead of your position player pitching, that guy comes in. He's your innings eater enforcer guyer.
I like it.
I think that was a trick question regardless. Anytime that you use the word Dan Uggla and he's not in the game, that's where you've messed up already. So if he's on your roster, he should be in the game.
Yep. That's a good point. I do
Even
apologize
for
to Dan.
Acuna.
Yeah. He's playing right field for the Braves.
That would be about as good as the second base playing for the Braves. So no big deal. So I like this idea. This question made me think of an old classic Base Wars Nintendo game where robots and different things were involved. It wasn't just humans as players. And each character had a different weapon. If you played it enough, you knew what each weapon each character had. But if you just randomly played, you wouldn't know. And so anytime a close play happened on the bases, if it was close enough and they would argue over it, then the fielder and the runner would get into a fight. And the winner of the fight, you're safer out. And so some of them, like, there was like these tank robots that had like tank wheels, track wheels for feet. They would have like bazookas as arms. That's how they would throw the baseball. And that would be their weapon. They'd shoot you. So some people just use their fists. So it was all random. But I feel like that would lead to murder, which is probably not where we're going. So the idea of having an enforcer, but what if it's a coach? Like, you just have an enforcer in the dugout and a fight comes on, that coach just sprints onto the field and just destroys whoever they need to destroy. Instead of Don Zimmer coming out, it's it's the Ultimate Warrior,
Oh,
so
I think the Giants are
Pedro,
sitting
why'd
pretty
you have
good.
to do it?
Pedro moved out of his way.
Yeah.
And then Don Zimmer fell down.
Helped his head to the ground.
But Don Zimmer should have known better.
Yeah,
But,
no, you can't.
If it's
blame
Mark
Pedro for that.
McGuire charging the mound, instead of the hitter,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So some roided out dude, Jose Canseco is in your dugout, and if you need to fight somebody, he's leading the charge.
And what prevents you from hiring like a retired MMA guy at that point? And he's just your.
Nothing, but he has to take up a roster spot.
Yeah, I think
Or wait,
no, he's a coach. Takes up
he's a
coaching
coach.
spot,
My
yeah.
bad.
Then just
Your
get
bench
3
coach.
MMA guys.
Because the
That's
other
fine.
team, the other team can do the same thing.
That's true.
Jose
Daily-
Canseco versus Conor McGregor. That'd be fun.
Oh man. All great ideas, gentlemen.
Yours is the one I've been waiting for. So
Mine's a little bit more.
deathy.
There's a panther.
You could say that. There's no
Nobody knows
panther
where
this
it
time.
is.
No, that's an old pod. Go back and listen to that. That's a good one too. So when a fight happens, the people that I am the most excited for, because they haven't done nothing all game, is the bullpen. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So they see what happens. They're jumping over the thing. They're, like you said, they're winded by the time they get out there. So my thought is, let's have this situation, however a team's getting into a fight or something, right? They break it up, but then the field clears. And then the bullpens fight each other. And whoever wins, it's bragging rights. But you could also give him a few extra runs or something. But then you can't use that pitcher if he's way too hurt. You know what I'm saying? So make it more about the bullpens.
I like
they
that.
don't ever have to do anything, right? And so then you have your skirmish at the mound or whatever, you say a few things, then it clears. But then the lights come back on and the bullpens are just going after each other. And however long it lasts, it could last a minute, it could last 25 minutes, but it's just last man standing.
Dude, I'm loving this. Pictures in my head. Harper runs out at Strickland, all furious, throws the helmet aside, stands there and looks at him, and they shake hands, and then the announcer's like, "Now let's check out the bullpens," and the camera cuts the bullpens.
Because they have to stop or they're going to get ejected. Let's leave it up to our bullpens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just stole Corey's thunder for the next question. I apologize.
Yeah. Thanks. a
You
lot.
always talk about this fight because Buster Posey's in it. It's your chance to say Buster Posey's name.
That's true.
Well,
Wait.
a little bit of. Whoa, where
no,
we
just
going
kidding.
here?
You got Buster's face on you.
I think. I mean, I would probably take elements of all y'all's, but yeah, there has to be a little something on the line. I think. Otherwise, what's the point? I don't know what that would be, but Aaron,
The loser of the fight gets suspended. Not who starts it. Who loses the fight gets suspended.
that could be a
Wouldn't you
good
just
option.
fight somebody you can beat that you think
exactly.
is good?
Then you're enforcers in the game like hockey. You're picking a fight with who you want to fight. So the batter charges right field to get Acuna out. See?
So yeah,
Acuna
it's
loses the fight. He's suspended.
that seems ridigulous.
I'm
But
more or less just picturing
Oh
the
yeah,
bullpens.
because we're riding the normal
Yeah.
train right now. Oh, I'm sorry. I got a little crazy. My bad.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, all this enforcer talk. We've talked about old school epic battles. You also have the old school, if it's David and Goliath, you call out your warrior, or Achilles versus whoever that dude from Troy was.
Sting versus Flair.
Sting versus Flair, yeah. So the coaches come out before the fight happens and are like, we call our Ultimate Warrior out, and then the loser has to pick a player to be suspended for 5 games or whatever. That's cool, man.
Can they pick any player, even if they weren't involved in the fight at all?
Well, see, I think so. The instigator of the thing, if they lose, they get 10 games, and then the person they went after, if that team's loses, like as the defender, they would only get 5 games because, hey, I didn't really start the fight. Why would I get as many games as the guy coming at me?
Yeah, I'm thinking put more.
Thanks
more,
for making
put,
it not so crazy, Joe. That
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah,
I
that was
think it
much
put more-
better.
Put more
If we put
stakes on it.
that into the proposal that we send to
We've
the
talked
MLB.
about like a wrestling XFL baseball crossover before. I think we're getting closer, guys. I think a couple more years of
That's an
this
element.
podcast, we'll have it locked in.
And kind of off the cuff, listeners, and we can talk about our favorites here, is as you think back, which I know I haven't given you a lot of time to think, what is there one like brawl or fight or yelling back and forth that you remember being your favorite? I guess maybe that's the wrong word to use with fights, but what sticks out the most to you as you think back on some of the stuff you either saw during our time or, old clips? Jay Lee.
I mean, I have 2 that immediately come to my head, and they're one super quick. The one where I think it was Amir Garrett charged the entire Pittsburgh.
That was
Pirates
my
by
number
himself.
one, dude.
That's amazing. He just did not care. And I mean, of course, the other big one is being a Cardinals fan, the Cincinnati Reds and the Cardinals, that big brawl with Brandon Phillips kicking people and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Corey?
well, I just wanted to talk about the Amir because I did not think of that, but I'm thinking of it now, and just like the guy is coming out of the game, and then he's like,
Beelines it. Yep.
do
Yeah.
your slow walk to your dugout that you're sad that you're getting pulled out. He's like, nope, I'm gonna run straight at the other dugout.
He had Skip took him out of the game, right? Was it
Yeah.
Skip or he had to say something to Skip, I would think, or Skip knew that was going to happen. Because I mean, that was building to a point, and then
That's
some
very
big
good.
balls to do what he did.
Yeah. Mine, like Aaron mentioned, is the Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland brawl, mostly because I don't really know why Hunter Strickland is mad, bro. But there were so many things that happened. Strickland hits Harper. Harper throws the helmet. It's the worst helmet throw that has ever existed. It goes straight right. He winds up, goes just 90-degree angle.
And Strickland acts like he's throwing a
Yeah.
grenade. I mean, he's got his back to him.
Harper charges, and then you see Buster Posey
He's like, I'm out.
just standing behind the plate. They do. Harper and Strickland start mixing, and then Buster takes maybe the slowest walk I've ever seen of someone who's involved in a baseball brawl in their general direction. He is not interested at all in what's going on. And then you talk about the 2 waves coming in. This brawl ended Michael Morse's career because he got hit by his own player on his own
That's
team.
the best part of it, man.
Well, it's not the best part for Michael Morse.
Well, no, but just those 2 guys are like, yeah, let's do this.
Well, because they're both giant dudes too. So because Jeff Samardzija, former Notre Dame wide receiver, and Michael Morse, just big dude, just collide, and the guy, it's concussions, or I don't know what happened exactly, but there's so many things going on, and it's just, I think I'm maybe just a closeted Giants fan.
Yes, I think
that's
you are.
kinda
You're
what it
not
is.
very closeted. This is a very
That's true.
open closet.
So it's a walk-in.
It's so weird, like how Posey was so against that fight, thought it was stupid, and didn't care about helping his teammate, and yet the exact opposite for Morse and Samardzija, and how they were like, "Fight, sweet, here we go." They dove in front of their pitcher, and it obviously didn't work out for him. But
yeah, I mean Posey, because I think this was after he got hurt. I don't know if it was just like a self, interest thing of like, hey, I would like to continue to play and help my
Yeah,
team. But
could be.
I mean, he always has just seemed like a very level-headed guy as well. Like he's never one, and I think that gets. I don't know him personally, so I don't want to, act like know how he operates. But he never got too excited or too upset about much of anything. So
Man, I just keep thinking of fights. I'm looking them all up, trying to figure out which one I'm talking about. You
So,
got one, Jared?
Jared-
I mean, I'm
Jared.
surprised. I'll do it again. I got one on the top of my head that I thought.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Corey,
Yeah, go to
Corey
it.
would have mentioned.
I'll look up a
is
different one.
the Michael Barrett and AJ Przinsky. I mean, that was a great one too. Right at
Very
home
good.
plate,
Yeah,
he just pops him right in the mouth. I mean, that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
that's
It's
good. I thought about that one.
it's good when they're almost always instigated by a pitcher and hitter, right? Guys on the mound, he's throwing at him, which I mean gives the pitcher the upper hand like
Mhm.
crazy. I have a ball I can throw at 98 miles an hour, and I'm going to throw it at you. The pitcher has the only retaliation the hitter can do is either one, wing your bat at him, which should probably get like a misdemeanor assault charge, or charge the mound. So when they happen not with a pitcher pitching at a batter, throwing at them, like at home plate, or like Anderson and Ramirez at second, it's kind of cool how they kind of start at other places. We all know that when the competitive juices get flowing, somebody says something, and it's just like, all right, well, there's only one thing to do now. We got to fight.
I found it. So thanks for stalling. It was 2003 when Farnsworth charged the plate.
Yeah.
The Paul Wilson, the pitcher for the Reds, turns to square around for sacrifice bunt. Farnsworth goes up and in, which honestly is what we were always told growing up. Square to bunt, throw it up and in, because it's hard. It's a hard pitch to get down on the ground. And small town Midwest baseball, you did a lot of sacrifice squeezing and stuff. And so you throw it up and in, hope the batter misses, and then you get the runner out. So Farnsworth does that, chucks it up and in, misses. Paul Wilson spins around, says something before you know it. Farnsworth spears him, and they're almost in the batter's box. That's how far Farnsworth has gone. Wilson didn't even have a chance. And
Wilson had no idea what hit him.
Yeah, Farnsworth just on top. So that one popped into my head, but I threw it back to Jared because I wanted to find it. But the one I was thinking of was an honorable mention now because of what could have happened. And it's a very obscure one, but I couldn't find the year. 1998, Galarraga is on the Braves. And Darren Dreifert, I couldn't remember who the pitcher was, but he beams Galarraga one start in LA. 5 days later, they're in Atlanta, and Dreifert's on the mound again. And the first time he beams him, he starts walking towards Galarraga and is mouthing him as Galarraga's walking to first. And Galarraga is known as like the nicest guy in the world. And then the next start, Dreifert hits him again. And so Galarraga charges the mound, and he just winds up, throws everything he has, dead sprint at Dreifert's face. And Galarraga throws it left-handed. I don't know why he threw it left-handed. Maybe he's naturally lefty, but he played baseball right-handed. And so the punch looks a little awkward, and he just misses. Dreifert ducks, Galarraga misses, and Dreifert trips him and ends up on top of Galarraga. And nobody really gets hit because they're pulling each other off before. But I mean, just seeing Galarraga sprint at you, cocked back, ready to level you, and somehow you win the fight is just insane. So that always cracked me up. Like the fight that almost happened.
Man, I feel like we could talk about this for a long time because
Yeah.
everything being said. Go ahead, Corey.
No, I was just gonna say I have another honorable mention that I thought was gonna be Aaron's honorable mention because
Tony Bautista.
I haven't even got to my first choice.
No, I know.
Go ahead.
Well, because I don't think this was a brawl, but it was the Carlos Gomez home run against the Braves, and McCann just
he
stands
still hasn't
between,
touched home.
stands between third and home, and like Gomez, because I don't really know that they got started throwing punches, but Gomez and McCann are just face to face in the third, like between third and home in the baseline, and like that
never touched home. They gave
that came to mind when you were talking about the Michael Barrett AJ Przinsky thing, and so that was because McCann, I mean I think he was a fiery guy, but I think still most of the time level headed.
Oh no, he's not level headed.
Okay,
he's crazy. Yeah, he's crazy.
But I liked that one. Go ahead, Joe. Do your first choice.
Well, use them all up.
No, before I get into my first one, one of the things Aaron said made me think of. I don't know if it's ever happened in an MLB game, but I think we've all saw some clips of when a hitter goes after a pitcher and the pitcher literally just runs around the stadium until like the hitter is caught. Have you
Yeah.
seen has anybody seen clips? I think maybe it's in an Asian league, Japan,
Yeah.
NPN or whatever that is.
Oh,
They'll just take off. I saw one where he's all the way out in the outfield, just running around the track as the hitter's still chasing him. It's hilarious. But
One of my favorites is over there when Tony Bautista, the big third baseman, gets hit,
yeah,
spins around real big, and you see the pitcher take off, and Tony Bautista's like laughing about it.
yeah, that guy was going to be off to the races. He was not fighting Batista. He's like having sides.
Yeah.
But one that kind of jumped to the top of my list, which I saw for the first time this year, and I can't believe I didn't know it existed. I pulled it up as we were talking, and it's on. I'm assuming this is where I saw it because it's one of the few YouTube sites I'm on, Pitching Ninja's site. And so the Cardinals kind of have I don't know if you call him a folk hero or one of our favorites. He currently does some post-game for him is the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski. And if you want to chuckle, if you want to see some competitive fire, YouTube Al Raboski, and he played for the Royals. He played for the Cardinals. Maybe another team in there. I can't remember. He played for Atlanta? Yeah. Well, he was a reliever. He was pretty fiery. And he was pretty animated on the mound. Well, in 1974, they're playing the Pirates. I believe it's the Pirates here. No, it's the Cubs. Huh. So Cardinals Cubs, and the batter is upset about something. I don't know what it was, I don't know what it was. Bad call. The batter just walks away, and the umpire's like, get in the box. Batter continues to walk away. So he just points out to Raboski, and he's like, start pitching. The coach comes out. Raboski pitches. No matter where the pitch is at, the ump's calling it a strike. So the coach is standing in the box as Raboski's pitching. The on-deck batter has now come up to try to swing at the pitches this guy is throwing. The first batter is sprinting back to the batter's box to try to get in the box and not strike out because, like I said, Raboski's just throwing it up there wherever, and the ump is like calling strikes. And so I think I want to say Ted Simmons was catching. So he's got three guys like on top of him now, and it eventually descends into not like a crazy brawl because, again, the teams and whatnot. But, Simmons starts fighting. Raboski pours in from the mound, of course. And, I don't know what, if any, suspensions come out of it. But I just saw that for the first time this year. And with as many famous fights that there's been, I'm surprised I hadn't saw that before. But listeners, if you haven't saw that, 1974 Cubs Cardinals, Al Raboski, it's definitely worth watching.
I have
haven't seen that.
complete
That's pretty funny.
tangent since we're talking about Al Raboski, but have you ever seen him throwing the baseballs back?
Epic, dude.
He just looks at throws. Dude, so good. I've got this killer picture here. Share that real quick.
this is gonna be. Oh, here we go.
Look at him. Look at
Oh
that.
boy!
And the throwback.
Get some beard dye, and you're right there, man.
Look, click on the Royals one in the top left.
I just need to cut this. Yeah, that's him on the mound there. Yeah,
He's still got the epic. I don't know what you call that. Fu
Manchu.
or yeah.
Al Raboski, come on the pod.
Yeah.
Come on
Dude,
That'd be a
down.
treat.
If he does, I retire. That's it.
So listeners in the comments, let us know what your favorite fight is. Link your YouTube links or whatever video you have.
Be sweet.
All right, that's fun. We ready to predict?
Let's do it.
Let's do some
All right.
predictions. I don't feel like last week went well.
I think Corey's
Not for me
caught us.
anyway.
I haven't
It
caught you. I've caught. Let me tell you.
didn't take long.
I've caught 500. Is what I've caught.
Caught fire, baby.
Yeah. Last week, Joe and I actually were 3-2, and then Jared and Aaron were 1-4.
Ooh,
That brings
I'm
the
pulling away.
season-long totals. Yeah, Joe's 41, Aaron 38, Jared 37. I'm at 36.
Oh gosh!
Coming.
Like
Objects.
2 weeks ago, you were 10 behind us.
Objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear.
You're looking a little bit bigger than your 4'7", 72
Yeah, that's
pound
right.
frame.
The weekend matchups I was not super excited about this week.
Get Keuchel back in the bigs.
Is he?
Is that
I
real?
didn't even see that.
Yeah. He's pitched good.
That's true. Yeah, there he is. Hey, look at that.
Wow.
Yep.
I will definitely have him losing that matchup.
Yep. Me
You got
too.
the stats, man.
Our first. I don't care what he did in AAA.
He's had 1 or 2 starts.
Our first matchup this
Not
week
good.
is the Twins at Phillies. I'm on that Phillies train. I think they're hot. The hot hand's gonna stay hot. I'm taking the Fighting Phils.
I mean, whatever. Not my turn.
All
Jared?
aboard.
All right, choo.
Yeah, I know Minnesota's winning the deadly AL Central, but that doesn't mean a whole lot, right? So, I'm gonna go with. I mean, they for sure win that first game, so I'll go with the Phillies as well.
All right, Aaron. now you can speak.
Minnesota.
Did you have something else you wanted to say about the Phillies that you held your tongue on?
I mean, it's Christopher Sanchez. Like, it's not like he's going up against Aaron Nola.
Let's see
Lopez
what
and
Sanchez's
Gray.
ERA is now.
I don't
Christopher Sanchez's ERA is
Nobody cares about
3.44.
ERA.
0.96 whip.
care. Keuchel's is 1.8. So
0.966 whip. That's all you need to say, baby. Give him a 10-year.
Christopher Sanchez on
Look
Joe's
at-
team.
Corey, what's the BB per 9? Christopher Sanchez. I'm looking at it, but I don't want you to tell me.
Okay. This is obviously something that I have ready to go here.
Well, you just listed all his stats. I thought you were.
I
looking
listed
at
the 2 that are very common in big letters at the top of the screen. I have no idea. Go ahead.
BB per 9 is 1.5. Give
Nice.
him a 18-year deal.
Well, he'll be 44 when that's over.
So the Phillies have the advantage game 1. Good for them. Minnesota next.
Okay, next is the Tigers at Red Sox, which is kind of a fun matchup. The Tigers have not been playing badly, and the Red Sox have been playing badly.
Tigers just beat Twins today, so
Yeah, I'm going to take the Tigers. Go Tigers.
Cool. I took Boston.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I can't even name a player on the Tigers, so I'll go with Boston.
Well, there's nobody in the Red Sox uniform.
Joe
so
can't name a player at half the teams in MLB, and he's on a
it's-
baseball
it's a
podcast.
good thing we're here.
This is good.
It's a good thing you
What's-
guys are here, yeah.
What's
I'll
even
go-
bad?
I'm going
even-
Boston, but this is closer than I thought. What was that, Jared?
No, what's even worse is like he's got the pitchers' names in the agenda, so he could name a player on there if he wanted to.
Yeah.
You got to be able to read first.
He'll
So,
mispronounce it.
hey, let me give you something.
Tarek Scubble versus Trish Sale.
Go ahead, Joe.
Speaking
me
of Chris
something.
Sale, let me give you something. Y'all's mind's about to be blown. Did you know he has the highest? I don't know how this is computed. He has the highest. He has the highest strikeout per 9 of all time, 11.1.
How many innings?
It's a gross arm angle. That's probably why he can't stay healthy.
I mean, a
Like-
lot of
Whoa.
innings.
That's a
Well,
big
I
explosion.
meant like, what's the minimum?
I don't know. It's on Baseball Reference. It just has his strikeouts per 9 for his career in gold, which means an all-time record.
Because I mean, like, yeah, I wonder what that's pretty crazy. There's a lot of relievers obviously do higher, but they don't have the
Yeah.
innings.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the
And
minimum would be.
Spencer Strider.
Okay, moving on to the Padres at D-backs. The D-backs are maybe not very good. Maybe they're who we thought they were. I don't know. I'm gonna take the Padres though.
Did we let him off the hook?
That's my Spencer Strider impersonation.
Yeah, we're doing Spencer Strider mustaches.
Padres.
Padres.
Yeah, I'm thinking a Padre is that like a Friar type character?
Father.
Father. That's what
So you get a Diamondback to the ankle, like on a say you're on a devotional walk or something. I don't know. I had the Padres in the World Series, so I'll go Padres.
What if the Friar bites the snake on the tail?
Yeah, you ever think about
Well,
that? He didn't.
Diamondback? Isn't a Diamondback a rattlesnake? You probably don't do any damage. So
Why are
that-
we assuming the snake is biting? How come the Friar Tuck can't bite? I've seen Friar Tuck go crazy.
Okay, can we just pick a team?
I'm going Padres. I've lost all faith.
Oh,
in
he jumped off the
Diamondbacks.
train.
I have. It's been bad. They were what 17 games over 500 at one point, and now
And
going
yeah, they were
today,
500.
they were 500. I don't know what they did today.
Yeah.
Have they played yet?
They probably realized that
They're about to lose the
stadium they
Dodgers,
play
I'm
in
sure.
stinks.
They're probably
Yeah,
gonna lose
they
the
probably
ninth
realize
ball
they
game
need a
on 500.
renovation.
I
All
tried.
right.
I tried Arizona. I was rooting for you hard,
You weren't rooting hard enough, I guess.
Rootin' tootin'.
and you guys were all tooting, and I was rooting. You had
Oh,
more
look who's
tooting.
laughing now.
You had more
Yeah.
tooting than rooting.
you know, I think toots are a lot funnier than rooting. So
And they're
yeah.
and nothing beats a good tooting like a good rooting. But
Excuse
Depends
me.
on it depends on what you're rooting.
Can we move to the next
I
matchup
root
now?
for toots. But I like the rooting.
Okay, Yankees at Marlins. Two teams that have had a little tough go. I mean, the Yankees have, if you look at their expectations, have had a tough go the whole season. But I think especially I like
Well, that's gonna be a fun matchup.
I like those pitchers. Yeah, it is. It's good pitching matchups. I mean, Garrett and Sandy, it's gonna be good. I mean, they're all good. So,
Those are all good. Yeah.
which I'm surprised actually that the Fangraphs probabilities are all favoring the Marlins. But I am going to take the Marlins because I just think it's more fun. And the Yankees, I feel like, are a team that's just losing 2 out of 3 every time right now. So Marlins.
Maybe if I do this, I don't know if you guys have been on ESPN recently. I'm sure you have, but maybe this will jog your memory. There's a picture right now of like someone making a face like this.
Who's
Yeah.
making this face?
It's the last Diaz punch out.
Aaron Boone.
I'm going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
All right.
I'll go. I got these guys in the World Series. I think I got them winning it. So they're gonna peak here pretty quick, real quick. Yankees.
Aaron?
I'm actually going Marlins. The Yankees have Aaron Judge, and that's it, and he's not doing anything. So I like what the Marlins got going there for that rotation.
All right. And to wrap it up, our headliner of the weekend.
Back-to-back weekers.
Everybody's excited. The Athletics at the Nationals. You know, I've got a lot of things to say about both these teams. On the up and up. Got a lot of stuff good stuff going on them. Paul Blackburn's still with the
Rootin'
Athletics. They got the guy that they got from Yankees and Ken Waldachuk going in the last game of the
should
series.
ask Joseph to say that name.
It's true. He can say the first pitcher for the Nationals.
Joanne
But-
Adon.
You got
Joanne.
it.
That's my grandma's name.
Yep. I'm
My
gonna go.
grandma's name.
I know I just talked a lot about
Not
the
mine.
Athletics.
Are we
I'm gonna
brothers?
take the
Cousin?
Nationals. I'm taking the Nationals. Somebody pick the next team. Jared.
I gotta go with my boys down over there in Oakland.
All right. Yeah, it's
down,
somewhere.
down and over.
Well, the Nats got 3 guys going with a J name, so I guess I got to jump on that train. Maybe I can be the 4th.
That's a good as reason as any.
Yep. Nats. Ended the home team.
I've never even heard of those other 2 guys. Josiah Gray's a beast, but I've at least heard of Oakland's 3 pitchers.
That's something.
That's something. It's more than I haven't picked this one yet. I go back and forth on this one.
Well, I already typed one in, so
Go with the split.
yeah.
I'll go. Who'd everybody go with? I'll go Oakland.
Forehead.
Wow, that's a lot of
Yeah.
forehead.
I know
Five
my forehead's big, guys. Look at that thing.
All right. We got 3 Phillies, 1 Twins, 3 Red Sox, 1 Tigers. Sweep on the Padres. Split
Corey's the
on
only one
Yankees
left with a forehead.
Marlins, split on Nationals Athletics, and I'd also like to tell you about Keeps. This is our first sponsored ad read. It's for they ship you a pill and you get to get more hair. So go on to
No.
keeps.com and type in I've kissed Michael Keaton for 30% off your first order.
You're already lying to these fans wrong. It doesn't grow your hair back. It keeps the hair you have.
Okay, well, why
It stops a certain protein from releasing that goes through
2
your
out of
scalp.
3 guys will experience hair loss by the age of 35. There's no magic cure for baldness, but you can prevent hair loss from happening in the first place. Take action today with our scientific and affordable approach. Again, I kissed Michael Keaton for 30% off your first 6 orders, and then
Rootin' tootin' you did.
30% extra on orders 7 through 12.
All right.
Get us out of here.
I want to stay. This has been fun.
Oh man.
No? Okay.
I want Michael Keaton on the podcast now.
Dude. Yes. I don't know how we make that happen.
We
We
probably
can't.
I know a guy.
We don't make it.
Well,
I know lots of guys. None of them are
me and
Michael
Skip.
Keaton.
Me and Skip are gonna have 2 open slots here in a second with you guys leaving to a different pod.
That's
so.
right. Hey, shout out to Brandon. He follows us on Twitter and stuff. I don't know if he actually listens.
Yes, we should.
but if he does, his Brewers suck. So
Okay,
He
this
tries
isn't
to-
the OTP
You just traded for
podcast.
Jared Hartman.
Take that to a different one.
alrighty. Until next time, don't forget.
Thanks for listening,
to
Brandon.
rate
your
positions.
Rake it.
Look at nuts.
I just watched Spider-Man Homecoming for the first time.